This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Breaking news tonight, this apartment complex where hundreds of health code violations have been found could soon be forced to pay property taxes for the first time in over a decade. I'll tell you how it all happened next.
A vehicle slams through the front door of a business. I'm Nicole Griffin tonight, finding out why there are some questions about whether this location was the intended target.
Scooter rental fees could now fund a new project to add bike paths in neighborhoods. I'm Stephanie Wade with where these paths will be located and how you will be affected.
And tonight, breaking developments about a north side apartment complex busted repeatedly by the health department.
Working for you, RTV6 has been pushing for answers and accountability from the owners of Lakeside Point at Nora since March. In May, we were the first to tell you the owners haven't paid property taxes since 2007 by claiming to be a charitable organization, all while residents deal with mold, broken doors, and go weeks without hot water.
But tonight, we've learned that tax-exempt status is being revoked. RTV6's Graham Hunter is on top of this latest development. Graham.
A spokesman from the Marion County Property Appraiser's Office tells me that management and ownership of the property was sent notice that they needed to provide documents by July 15th to establish why the property should maintain its charitable designation. That's a status that the property has had since 2007, meaning the property has not had to pay taxes on its assessed value of over $16 million, amounting to around $360,000 in taxes each year they didn't have to pay. Well, that changed this morning. No documents were sent to the assessor's office by management or ownership. So when the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals met this morning, they voted unanimously to suspend the tax-exempt status of the apartment complex effective for 2019. Indiana property taxes are paid a year in arrears, so management would receive its first bill in January. That would be due at tax time in April. Now, this is not a done deal. Management can reapply for that tax-exempt status. There is no deadline on that. It will ultimately be up to the board to weigh in on what they want to see from the property owners to have that exemption reinstated. We're reporting live from the northeast side. Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Graham, breaking this story for us. Thank you. We appreciate it. Tonight, employees at a business in Carmel are still cleaning up a big mess that you see here after a vehicle slammed into the front of their office.
And the attempted burglary is leaving questions about why their location was targeted, especially since nothing was taken.
RTV6's Nicole Griffin is finding out tonight it could be the location of the office and what's located right next door.
It almost looked like there was a tornado came through here, to be quite honest.
On Wednesday night, Jonathan Moore received a startling call.
There was just things strewn about everywhere. Obviously, glass was all over the floor, inside and outside.
Based on all the damage and tire tracks on the floor inside of home care providers, he says police believe a vehicle slammed into the office.
Walls were damaged, desks were damaged, equipment was damaged, even data ports that you plug your phone computers into were damaged as well. So all those things have to be either replaced or fixed.
Home Care Providers is an organization that provides support for patients in their homes all across the country. This Carmel site is a corporate office. Moore says the suspects did not take anything from inside, but now they have a big mess on their hands, and it's impacting some employees.
We do have employees that work from home that come to the office a lot, and now they're not able to do that because the front area was used for that primarily.
There are some questions about whether or not the suspects were intending to target the home care provider's office here, or if they were targeting the firearms location, which is right next door. Well, I talked to the owner of Pinnacle Firearms off camera, and he says it's important to let the public know that every night they go above and beyond as far as security to lock up, store, and secure the firearms. He says in the evening, everything gets put away, and every morning it gets brought back out. So even if the thieves were able to make it inside his store, he's confident they wouldn't have left with any guns.
We just don't want to speculate and bring anybody else into why. We don't understand why we were targeted, but we're just as shocked as anybody else. So.
In order to protect the investigation, Carmel police say right now they aren't releasing surveillance video or any additional information about the crime. Working for you in Carmel, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Thanks, Nicole. And we asked police whether they believe the suspects intended to break into the home care provider's location, but they declined to say. When investigators are ready, police say more info will possibly be released.
Scooters are helping to pay for new city bike infrastructure expansion. To connect people with more routes and trails through their neighborhoods, the city is hoping to roll out a new infrastructure project soon. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is working for you and explaining where this is happening and who's benefiting.
$1 per scooter per day. That's how the City County Council collected $450,000 from scooter rental companies to fund what they're calling neighbor ways.
Adding value to neighbors' lives.
That's how Allison Cole with Freewheelin' Community Bikes describes this proposed project.
I'm really excited. My family and I use the Monon Trail quite a bit, and it would be great to have greater accessibility to that.
And people I spoke with who live near the affected roadways agree. What the city is hoping to do is connect bicyclists and scooter riders on residential roads to other bike paths and trails nearby.
Especially with kids, I think, having that additional security and sort of knowledge of where they're going would be really helpful.
Infrastructure improvement, new signage, and pavement markings will direct people to the closest trails. The orange dotted line you see here is where the lanes would go. And for now, the project will be concentrated in two sections of the city, the near north side and the near south side.
We have been relying mostly on donations and grants, and this is just really synergistic that the city with these funds to help improve neighborhood streets, to make them bikeable for kids.
Some of that $450,000 will also go toward helping expand 3 bike shops and programs. Freewheelin' Community Bikes is one of them, which gives bikes to kids, teaches them how to ride and how to repair them through their Earn a Bike program.
Bicycles, I think, first and foremost, give kids a sense of freedom, a sense to go travel and go explore the world. A bicycle is maybe one of the very first assets that a kid comes to own and needs to learn how to take care of.
Together, they hope to connect more children with the skills and a safe path to ride. Working for you in Indianapolis, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And to take a look at the map of where these lanes would go, head over to our website at theindychannel.com. Next month, the city is also holding 2 open meetings for the public to learn more about this. We will share those details online as well.
In just a few hours, INDOT will shut down an interstate leading into downtown Indianapolis. It's a closure that will last for several days. At 9 o'clock, INDOT will close all lanes of I-70 between I-465 on the west side and the south split. When the road reopens, there will be new pavement, but work is also being done on bridges, approaches, interstate signs, and lights. The interstate is scheduled to reopen by Monday, August 5th at 6 a.m. Now to Democracy 2020, and the road to the presidency is making its way through Indianapolis as more candidates seeking the Democratic nomination made their pitches for support today. They addressed the National Convention of the Urban League, which is meeting in Indianapolis. The candidates are courting the African-American vote, which is critical to win their party's nomination. Among the hopefuls addressing the group today, South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg and California Senator Kamala Harris.
My generation saw this country elect its first black president and then turn around and elect a racist to the White House. And we ought to call that what it is. I'm living the challenges of a 21st century urban mayor, and I'm walking the way of a religious progressive, which brings me to something I think is really important to assert in the course of this 2020 election, and that is that God does not belong to a political party.
The fight for equality, of course, is more important than it has been in a long time. It is more important today than it has been in a long time. Because right now, we have a supposed leader in the White House who doesn't want to stand for progress, but in fact stands in the way of progress.
And yesterday, the group heard from former Vice President Joe Biden, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, and Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar.
New developments tonight at 6. The Crawfordsville newlywed couple whose honeymoon took a turn for the worse is back in the United States tonight and talking about their harrowing experience. The husband fell more than 50 feet down into a dormant volcano and was severely hurt. Now he's receiving care at a Florida hospital with his wife by his side. For Clay Chastain and his wife, Akemi, this has been a hazardous honeymoon riddled with hurdles.
probably the worst honeymoon ever.
But their love for each other is evident as they hold hands.
We've learned a lot about each other, a lot about who we ultimately need to have our trust in, and that's our God.
Clay and Akemi were exploring on the island of St. Kitts, east of Puerto Rico. On July 18th, the couple had hiked to the top of a dormant volcano. Clay wanted a closer look inside the crater and used a rope to rappel down. When it snapped, he fell 50 feet.
I wouldn't have survived if the fall was any worse. If I had some more injuries, it could have been much worse, and who knows, I might not have survived. And it's also no telling what would have happened if Akemi wasn't there to carry me down.
Calling her his hero, Clay says Akemi had to overcome her fears of heights and bodily fluids to get her husband to safety.
It's astounding, honestly, the amount that she was able to get through.
He had suffered a concussion, a fractured spine, and was vomiting blood. She had to get him out of the crater and to safety.
Because not only did she keep me going down the mountain when I couldn't even walk I couldn't even walk in general. I could stand up, and I could move my feet to walk, but I had no sense of direction and no balance. And the fact that I had to lean on her most of the way down, and that she's able to keep going and support me through that is nothing short of a miracle.
Once the couple reached a hospital, they had to wait days for funds to be raised for an air ambulance to transport back to the U.S. And then another setback. The first medical plane had mechanical issues, so the Chastain's flight was delayed a couple of days. Finally, the couple arrived to a hospital in Broward County, Florida, where they will remain for a few days.
I feel like I'm actually pretty well off right now, pretty strong. I don't have any doubt that this will get fixed over time, and it'll heal itself with the help of the doctors and help of God as well.
The doctors in Florida are giving Clay a good prognosis so the couple can continue with a quiet honeymoon with their cats at home.
But we're hoping to get back to Indiana soon and get Clay healed all the way and get back to our normal lives.
Again, the Chastains will return to Indianapolis in a few days after he is discharged from the Florida hospital. Clay says he has learned some lessons to pass on to others. Among the takeaways, always use a tour guide when considering exploring, never go alone on a hike or a climb, and make sure you watch your footing and have proper equipment while climbing.
Still ahead on the news at 6, getting ready for back to school can be expensive, but tomorrow everything is free. Details on when and where you need to be. Plus, Pathway to Employment, the program helping those living on the streets to earn a paycheck.
Second verse, a little different than the first as the Colts get back on the field here at training camp. Second day of practice, there's a little bit more. We'll hear from the coach and one of the rookies as we continue our coverage in Grant Park on the news at 6.
And a little different feel on the way for the weekend. We'll talk about our weekend warmth after this.
That's why people feel more comfortable shopping at Meijer.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Welcome back. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's push to expose employment barriers and provide solutions for Hoosiers looking for work. The city of Indianapolis is seeing positive results from a pilot program that aims to do just that. Pathway to Employment is the city's initiative to address the downtown panhandling issues by connecting those residents with employment opportunities and job training. The job? Picking up litter and waste across the city. For the past year, David Mitchell has been homeless and unemployed until he was connected with Pathway to Employment. Now, after a few weeks participating in the program, he has transitioned into a full-time job with a recycling company.
Mainly to get back up on my feet. I mean, that's my main priority is to get my own place and support myself instead of having to rely on somebody else.
Once they've gotten on to one of our employer partners full-time, I mean, they've gotten a place to stay, they've gotten their license, their oversight has lessened, and they're able to function as proper citizens on livable wages. So it makes a huge impact to our community.
The job pays $10 an hour, and with Pathway to Employment just in its second month, the program has connected 21 participants to daily jobs for about 2,000 hours of work. Now, more information on the pilot program can be found at hiringhoosiers.com.
They came by the handful, by box, and by tub, tiny pieces of metal that collectively add up to making a big difference in the lives of families with sick children. Today was the 15th annual Pop Tab Drop benefiting the Ronald McDonald House of Central Indiana. For 3 hours, outdoors, people donated the pop tabs they've been collecting all year just for this event. The pop tabs are recycled, and the money raised goes to help house families whose children are in the hospital. Many people in groups have been doing this for years. One veterans group in Howard County donated more than 3 million tabs today.
You only have to meet one Riley kid, and that makes a difference right there. And knowing that, there's a lot of families that can't afford to stay there at a hotel or motel, and we try to make up the difference what they pay and what they can afford to pay. So whatever we do, it helps.
RTV6 also donated the pop tabs we've been collecting. The Ronald McDonald House gets 44 cents per pound. We should get the final numbers by next week. Since 1995, this event has raised more than $800,000. Tomorrow is one of the best days to help get your child ready for the school year. Saturday is the annual Back to School Family Day at the Marion County Health Department. Each child who attends gets a free backpack with school supplies, many of them donated by you during our Back to School drive last week. You can also get free health screenings and immunizations for your child. More than 10,000 people typically attend the event. It runs from 8:30 to noon in the parking lot of the Marion County Health Department, located at 3838 North Rural.
6:17 on a beautiful Friday evening. 13 times this month our temperature's been to 90 or above. Add in the couple from June, and we've got 15 days that we've reached 90, which is about average for this time of the year. Our warmest temperature so far, 94 degrees at the end of June. Temperatures both tomorrow and our better chance Sunday will be close to 90 degrees. Then we'll back off a little bit and have basically average temperatures most of next week. Our dry stretch continues. For most of us, it will reach at least 7 days. Our chance for rain on Monday, about 40%. If we miss that opportunity, rain chances are minimal the rest of next week. As far as our rainfall potential, certainly doesn't look too significant. Forecast models bringing in, generally under an inch, and in most cases quarter inch or less. Of course, we'll dial that in as we get closer. 84 the temperature in Muncie, 83 in Terre Haute, Indianapolis, 2 degrees from where we were for our high temperature today. We're down to 82 right now. Greenfield and New Powell both at 81 in Hancock County. Over the weekend, 87 tomorrow. Upper 80s on Sunday, a few more clouds Sunday, a little bit more humidity. That will push our heat index values over the 90-degree mark. As you look at the wind tomorrow, it'll be nice to have a breeze to go with those temperatures in the upper 80s. Southwest wind will gust at times to 20 miles per hour. There are the high temperatures. Everybody gets into the act with lots of sunshine and temperatures of about 87. We'll max out a degree or two warmer on Sunday with clouds increasing late in the day. There are the high temperatures. As far as any rain, may be closer to the state line with Michigan during the afternoon hours. We'll wait on a cold front. You can see the shower and thunderstorm activity northern Indiana, but by 7 a.m. Monday, the visible showers and thunderstorms along the cold front showing off to the northwest. Temperatures will be back in the mid-80s next week as we dry out. Monday is the chance for showers and thunderstorms, and then next Friday, that's a week from today, it's RTV6 day at the fair, opening day at the fair, and wouldn't it be nice to open with sunshine and 85 degrees?
We're hoping for it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Brad Brown joins us from Grant Park in Westfield for day 2 of Colts Camp.
Well, another picture-perfect day in Westfield this afternoon. A little bit cooler with some cloud cover and a little bigger crowd, as you might suspect, on a Friday as the Colts working their way toward the weekend number 1 here at training camp in Grant Park. We welcome you back here, RTV6 Sports on the road in Westfield, as we got a look at things, kind of a quick visual similar on this first day for the Colts, but a little bit more. Of course, we keep an eye on Andrew Luck once again, the Colts quarterback, pretty much the same as we saw on Thursday. He did add some time during the team's 7-on-7 drills this afternoon that we did not see on Thursday. Coach Reich said afterwards that Luck was a perfect 9 for 9.
We really like to spread the ball around. We got a quarterback who likes to spread the ball around, but, and then we got premier players, right, in T.Y., Ebron, Jack, we got a bunch of premier players, but we talk about this all the time. We are an unselfish group. We are an unselfish team. We like to celebrate our teammates' success. We want everybody involved.
A lot of eyes on the Colts wide receiver core. Those receivers and tight ends, a very deep group this year. It includes a very talented rookie at Paris Campbell, the highly touted player from Ohio State, is expected to work his way high into the rotation early early on here in 2019.
No, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but definitely, I know the task at hand for myself. I know the daily, job for myself. And as a rookie, I just want to come in and just do everything right. When I'm on the field, I never want there to be questions or concerns. I'm just trying to build that trust, practice by practice.
Colts back on the field Saturday and Sunday, much like they were here on Thursday and Friday for 2 o'clock practices. If you're coming up here to Westfield, Colt City will open at 1 o'clock. Again, a reminder that tickets are needed for practice. Those are free, though, and available for you to download online. IndyCar in Mid-Ohio this weekend. This is a big race as they'll have a couple of weekends off before the next trio of races start in Pocono. Colton Herta with the fastest time in practice this afternoon. Colton said earlier this week Mid-Ohio is his favorite track in the country. It could bode well for the rookie as he put up the quick time in the afternoon practice session. A quick look at the quick six includes a couple of Penske cars, another rookie in the mix there with Felix Rosenquist. Scott Dixon had the quick time in the morning practice session. He was 7th fastest overall on the day. They'll qualify on Saturday, and they will race over there on Sunday. And there's a new race coming to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway next year. It is the GT3 World Championship. They will conclude their season at Indianapolis the first weekend of October 2020 that will culminate with an 8-hour endurance race. This is a sports car series that includes the likes of Aston Martin, BMW, Bentley, Ferrari, Porsche, and many more. It will culminate in a couple of classes here, 4 days of racing. More details about that are coming, but there'll be some great cars to be seen on the IMS road course. Again, that's the first weekend of October next fall at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dave, first we'll have more from the IndyCar race over at Mid-Ohio. His coverage will continue for us tonight on the news at 11, and more from the Colts coming up this weekend. Their first off day comes up here on Monday. Time for us to take another break. We'll be back to the studio to wrap up tonight's edition of the News at 6 next.
JoyIllinois.com.
And just a little bit warmer this evening, but still pleasant. Temperatures over the weekend sneak into the upper 80s.
A little warmer.
Still nice, though. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 7 o'clock.